On June 3rd, 1968, Valerie Solanas rode the elevator up to the factory with Andy Warhol. She was someone who sometimes hung out there, and when they got there, she shot and critically wounded Andy. She was mad that he had lost a copy of a play that she had written, and she was sure he was going to steal the idea. She then shot a second person and tried to shoot a third. The gun was on the forehead of the third person when it misfired. She ran out of the factory and surrendered to the authorities a few hours later. She was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and received a 3-year sentence, including some time in a psychiatric ward. It was not good for Andy. He died on the operating table, and it was only after a friend told the surgeon that he was a famous person did they bring him back to life. He was never really the same after this. He left his old life and started a new chapter, that of businessman celebrity. He continued to do his own work, but he also started taking commissions for portraits and some ad work. $25K for the first portrait, $15K for the second portrait, and most people bought 2. That's not too bad, especially from how many of these he made every year. When I was looking at some of his later work, I discovered that he had done a series titled Cowboys and Indians, and it was about the myth of the Old West. And in this series, I found that Andy had done a portrait of John Wayne, and I'm thinking, hey, John Wayne, he and I are both members of the Sigma Chi fraternity. That's why I've got my shirt on. Or at least he was, until he passed away in 1979. So, in honor of John Wayne, I thought, why don't we take a look at the painting Andy did of him?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on, buddy. You're not showing anybody anything.
What?
There's a little thing called the Copyright Act of 1976. As your paid unlicensed legal advisor, I would recommend that you not do anything crazy like that. I can think of at least 3 entities that will come after you immediately.
Hey, unlicensed consultant? I thought you said you were a lawyer.
Well, I did go to Harvard.
Well, it didn't take you very long to bring that up.
Well, at least I went to the gift shop and got this awesome t-shirt. I'd show you the logo, but then I might get sued. Oh yeah, there's also a little thing called the Sonny Bono Act.
You mean like the music group from the 1960s, Sonny and Cher?
Yeah, Sonny and Cher. He added 20 years to the whole copyright thing. Yeah, you might say, I got you, babe.
Hardy har, very funny. Well, I guess they do. Well, all right, so I can't show you any examples.
Oh yeah, I think you're a little behind on your retainer fee. Great. I guess I'll put it on his tab.
Hey, where'd that guy go? I just went to go get my checkbook. Oh well. So anyway, you can go online and look up these images yourself. Just enter Andy Warhol, John Wayne, and I don't get sued. You'll see in this series that Warhol used bright color along the edges of the pieces. I'm going to use that same technique. But before I do that, I'm going to practice on a couple of photos that I printed out. This way I'll be able to try a couple of different variations until I find the one that works nice. Oh, this is definitely working. Drawing in these bright colored lines is really giving me that late pop art feel that I was looking for. One of the things I really admire about the pop art movement is that it turned popular culture into art. Everyday things that you normally didn't recognize as art, like an image of a celebrity or an advertisement or even a cartoon. They really wanted to break down the walls between popular culture and fine art. And here on the show, that's one of the things I try to encourage all the time, whether we're talking about pop art or any other art movement, and that is to look around and to see the art that surrounds us. I think this is going to work nicely. Let's get it on the canvas. When it came time to apply the bright lines to the painting, I thought I would try some acrylic paint markers. It's a new thing for me. I've never used these before. You can buy them pre-made in different colors, or you can purchase empty cartridges and load up your own colors. You just have to thin down your paint with a little stand media. I did a little bit of both. Pop artists were into and utilized modern technology to produce their ideas. I like this because why not utilize whatever technology you have available to get your idea on the canvas? It's all about getting your vision out there. And now, Doctor, it's time for the final process. It's not all that bad. I'm putting a cotton glove on to protect the canvas from any oils that I might have on my hand. It's time to touch up any areas that still need a little work. For me, getting the lips just right is always a challenge. I'm going to go back and work it several times. I can do thin glazes by adding water to the acrylic paint. There's always going to be a part of the painting you don't like. You just have to get back in there and rework it. While I work on this, why don't we listen to another great Dallas band, Fruitcake Superbean.
Left hand, right hand to the side.
Wow, those guys can really jam. When I was making my coffee earlier, we heard the Graceland Ninjas, another great local band. Dallas is definitely a hot spot for the arts. In 1986, Andy Warhol took a commission from an Italian bank to do a series titled The Last Supper. This was his last series, and it's only fitting that it was religious in nature. Because what most people didn't know about him was that he was extremely religious. Even in his wildest days, he always went to church on Sunday. He grew up in the Byzantine Catholic Church and spent hours and hours there every week as a child. If you look at the art of the Byzantine Church and then take a look at the portraits by Andy, I think you'll be amazed to see the influence. Andy faked having the flu to leave that project. He came home to New York only to be told that he had to have his gallbladder removed. It was more than likely a long-term consequence from being shot. He was terrified of having the procedure, and rightly so. The operation went well, but lack of attention in post-op caused him to die on February 21st, 1987. His estate sued and won $3 million from the hospital. Not that that really mattered. Andy Warhol was a poor kid who, through hard work and natural talent, made himself into one of the largest names in 20th century art. But more importantly, Andy Warhol changed the way people looked at and thought about art. This is Clinton, Pop Art. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode with Andy Warhol, Pop Art, and you know that Andy Warhol cocktail, that wasn't bad either. Art is all around us. You just have to open your eyes and see it. And you know you can make art, you just have to give it a try. We'll see you on the next episode of Bill Paints. You ready, Val? Let's go, girl.
I hope this horse knows where it's going.